the last chapter, that is chapter number 7, evolution. Okay, as per the information available in science, we all know that a possible scenario in which Earth and other planets were originated, that is called Big Bang Theory. How Big Bang Theory, it explains how Earth and other planets must have come into existence, and estimated that 20 billion years ago it must have happened. This event must have happened. How old this event is? Nearly 20 billion years old. This many years ago it must have happened. Rather, the universe must have come into existence, not the even Earth and other planets. Our galaxies must have developed later on, but the universe must have come into existence 20 billion years ago, and 4.5 billion years ago from today's time, that is the possible time when our solar system, the sun and other planets must have come into existence. That is the 4.5 billion years old event. And the third thing that we need to understand is the origin of life. Now, when Earth came into existence 4.5 billion years ago, it was a mass of gases with an extremely high temperature, where life could not have existed on it in that particular status, in that particular state over there. A fiery ball, mixture of gases only, no land, no water. So life couldn't have been there on that day when Earth came into existence. So life must have came into existence later on. The one of the estimates suggests that almost 3 billion years ago, first primitive most forms of life may have come into existence. So the third thing, if I add into this thing, origin of life, that would be 3 billion to maybe 2.8 billion years old event. That one is. So the life that has originated approximately 3 billion years ago, we don't know how it must have happened, because the evidences may not have been preserved for 3 billion years. But oldest fossil which has been observed, the rock which is oldest, and in that 3 billion year old rock, in that there are traces of primitive life, particularly blue-green algae type of organisms, imprints were found. So that justifies that possibly 3 billion years ago, life must be prevailing on the earth, but in its most primitive version of the life would be available at that time. Then the question is, how did it happen? Question is, how did it happen? The origin of life. If you want to understand evolution, then you have to understand the genesis of life. Both are different stories altogether. There is an earth on which there is no life, and first time life is appearing. That is the genesis of life. And once the life appeared, till date, over these 3 billion years, life has been changing, progressing. That part is called as which part? Evolution. Evolution is not about how life originated. That's a genesis part. Second part is what? Evolution. Life originating is genesis of life, and further life continuing, that is called as which part? The first step that you take while you walk, that first step is what? Origin of life. And the remaining steps that you take are related to evolution. That's the way you have to understand and divide it into two compartmentation, that there was no life and suddenly life came into existence, and then that life continued its modifications and has reached to this level where more than 20 million, 20 lakh plus species are already available from that point. So before we understand the evolution, let us talk about origin of life. Origin of life, evolution of life. Two different stories. We will start with the first story, origin of life. Different religions, different communities, different scientists, different people have different point of views regarding how life must have originated. So, for example, one of the Greek thinkers, Greece, that was the place where a lot of thinkers, particularly 2000 years ago, BC, before Christ, in that period, one or two very famous one who are related with our biology branch as a father of biology. Do you know who is the? Of course, that was from Greece, a Greek philosopher. Theophrastus, a Greek philosopher. Pluto and others. They all are which one? Greek philosophers. So Greek thinkers, Greek philosophers in that time, 2000 years ago, in that period, they were very prominent and intellectually wise, they were rated at a high level. So they had suggested that panspermia concept for origin of life. Panspermia concept suggests that the spores of life, spermia here is for spores, pan is across, so across the universe, different planets which are there in this universe, they received the spores of life, and whichever, including the earth as one of the planet, received spores of life. So these spores of life, they were transferred to the different planets, including which one? So this suggests life did not originate on the earth. This suggests life was received on the earth from some unknown source in the universe. At present, though, scientifically, this theory has been rejected, because so far no other planet has shown clear-cut evidences of presence of life. So until we get the life on other planet, we cannot accept this theory. Do you understand? Universe, some part of the universe must have released life spores, which must be received by different planets. Earth is one of such planet which may have received life over there, and life started evolving over here. That's just one of the theory, but scientifically not acceptable. Until which point? Some other planet also shows the signs of life, clear-cut signals of life. Then only it is acceptable. Another theory is a spontaneous generation theory. Different people believe that life originates from non-living matter instantaneously, spontaneously. Example, Egyptians, you understand, on the bank of river Nile. Okay, so Egyptian culture believed that river Nile, on the banks of that, lot of mud which is available in that, lot of fishes and crocodiles and frogs keep arising. Now we know that how it happens now, that crocodiles lay their eggs over there and baby crocodiles come out from that mud. Some of the frogs and other such animals which live in that area, they lay their eggs and there the babies will emerge out from that area, giving which impression to the people? That the mud is producing what? Animals. This thinking was prevailing in Egypt in thousands and hundreds of years back. So it was possible. But the recent scientific developments explain no, it is not possible. Mud cannot generate life the way they are explaining, at least Egyptians. Another theory within the same, like some scientist, one scientist observed that there was a glass jar, open glass jar, in which piece of meat was lying. Piece of meat was lying. He observed that within 2 or 3 days, small flies started coming out of it. Now we know that what must have happened. What must have happened? Piece of a meat kept in open jar. What is the possibility? Some fly must have entered in, may have laid the eggs. Eggs may have hatched out into maggots, the larvae, and they may have given rise to what? Small baby flies, which may come out, giving which impression? Meat is producing what? Flies. But that's a wrong thing. Some other scientist proved it wrong. Which way he proved it wrong? He covered the glass jar with the meat kept open over there. So that decaying meat, as long as it was covered, since the day of being kept over there, it was covered. So no fly may have entered in and may not have laid eggs. So no flies came out of it. So that was another wrong belief. Somebody observed dung. Dung gives rise to a lot of beetles, aisa bola. But dung cannot give rise to flies and beetles. Why? Dung is that non-living matter. How it must have happened? Some fly must have gone there, laid the eggs, maggots may have hatched out, and these larvae may give rise to flies. So all these beliefs, and one more, last one in that list. One scientist observed that cupboard was there in which he had kept dirty clothes with a lot of sweat. And after a few days, when he opened that cupboard, few baby rats, mice came out of it. So he said, human sweat produces mice. Can you imagine his innovative thinking that human sweat produces mice? Now, what must have happened? In that cupboard, already one female rat, which may have already conceived, may have entered in. And in that cloth, which gives a lot of warmth, so comfort zone hota hai. So they must have gone inside and may have let the given birth to the baby mice over there. And after a few days, when opened, all these mice came out and giving the impression that the cloth and that sweat produces what? Mice. Now all these theories, collectively called as spontaneous generation theory, suggest that dead matter, which matter? Dead matter, such as dung, mud, clothes and sweat kind of stuff, and other such decaying meat, they do produce what? Life. All these theories are wrong, completely wrong. In a way, it explains abiogenesis, origin of life from non-living matter. Only one problem with this theory, they say still it is going on, then it is wrong. One thing you need to understand, Earth has a planet with no life on it. When a first life came, it must have came from which one? Non-living matter. There is no other option. If everywhere there is a non-living matter and first life is coming, it must have come from which one? But then after whichever life came, it was from life to life. जैसे एक था ना virtuous का statement ना Rudolf Virchow, omnis cellula cellula, cell from, but from where the first cell came? Suggests that till date, I mean till present time, if non-living matter is producing living, then they all are wrong. And most of them were presented hundreds of years back, some of them, Egyptian culture, which I mentioned. Some scientists, these ideas were proposed in early 17th and 18th century. So 19th century में ऐसे ideas ज़्यादा proposed नहीं हुए. You see? Next is the theory of spatial creation. Now, it's a religious belief. Different religions have different ideas about origin of life. For example, in Hinduism, it is believed that Brahma is the God who is the creator of all the living forms on the earth. So that's the way one community believes about origin of life. Special creation. God, the one who is having special creative powers, who created this earth and its components and these living forms on the earth. Abrahamic religions, mainly Jewish and Christianity and Islam, in that which are Abrahamic lineages of the religions, all of three believe in some common format of origin of life, and according to this, God created the living forms in 6 days, special creation in 6 days. You remember heard about 6 days of creation by God? No, I mean Bible में properly mention हुआ है कि all living organisms were created as such. As such means the way they are at present. Human the way it is, birds the way it is, fishes the way it is. It's not evolution. It is just creation of God. So all living organisms are created as such. Same diversity prevails since creation. Today, if there are 20 lakh species on the earth, God, the day when it created the earth and its components, these 20 lakh species were already there at that time. And since then, they are prevailing. Here, this goes wrong. You understand? Here, this goes wrong. Many of the species which have recently evolved in last lakhs of years, which may not be there. Many of them which were there at that time, they are not available today. Like dinosaurs are not there. So this theory, obviously religious theory, so we don't go against that. Scientifically unacceptable. And they will remain same. यहाँ पे ज़्यादा wrong जाती है ये theory. क्यों? If the diversity was same, it didn't remain same. If it was whatever available at that time, let's say dinosaurs were part of that. So today they are not available. So how can we accept this theory? So this theory is religious belief. It is not acceptable scientifically, and it will remain same in future. This line is totally unacceptable. Earth is about 400 years old only. 4,000 years must be. Just look into the textbook and let me know. Below the diagram, that Miller's experiment. How much? 2,000 million. Is it written like that? 2,000 million years old? 4,000 hoga na man. Scientists believe that 2000 this and that. What I am talking about is this theory. Which theory? Special creation theory. Miller's experiment. Below that information is given. There it is written, not 2000. 4,000 years old. So they believe that this theory, it is written in Bible. So it believes that Earth is how old? Scientists don't accept it. The age of the rocks which are available on the earth through radiometric dating system. Have you heard about that? They have measured that the earth is billions of years old. So again, the theory goes wrong at this point, that earth cannot be 4,000 years old. It is much older than this estimate. This theory is totally wrong. In Bible, it is written that day one, it's a 6 days creation. Day one, light was created. God created light. Day two, sky was created. Day three, sun, moon, other. Day four, earth, its mountains and rivers and other trees and all that, ocean and all that stuff was created. I think day fifth, creatures in sea, in the ocean, they were created. And maybe the day sixth, creatures on land were created. So it's a 6 days creation. And on sixth or seventh day, in one theory it is sixth day, and another theory it is the seventh day. But on sixth or seventh day, first human was created, that is called Adam. And from his rib, Eve, the first female, was created. If you have heard about all that stuff. So वो जो 7 days का 6 or 7 days, दो version है. So जो 6 days of special creation, that theory suggests that things were created by superpower in 6 days, including sun and moon and earth and all the components, all the planets, including every form of life which is there on the earth. And since then it has remained as such, and in future it will remain so. That is this theory called as which theory? Still we don't believe in this thing. Scientifically unacceptable. Next theory is Louis Pasteur's theory. This theory is not about origin of life actually. This does not explain which feature. This explains how life has continued on the earth since its origin. So when it says biogenesis concept of life, what does it mean? Simply means that any new life has to come, it has to come from which one? He performed one experiment. The experiment in which he suggested that very small organism like bacteria, even if it has to come, it has to come from pre-existing generation of what? Bacteria. So when you talk about bigger forms, how can they originate from the non-living matter? So he was opponent of which theories? Abiogenesis theories. And to counter that, he proposed which theory? He was wrong, but in explanation of not origin of life, in explanation of continuation of life, which we identify as what? Evolution. He proved that life comes from pre-existing life through experiments on yeast. Yeast के ऊपर experiment, yeast का culture prepare किया और prove किया, उसका एक experiment है. We don't have much time left, otherwise we would have gone in details of this thing. But in experiments, he proved that unicellular organisms such as a yeast, it cannot also generate from non-living matter. So how come bigger forms originate from non-living, like flies and mice and alligators and all that stuff? So that was ruled out by Louis Pasteur. So he dismissed spontaneous generation theories. Now, so far, all these theories which we have seen, none of them is satisfactorily explaining how life must have originated. So now we are going to some other theories. One of the most acceptable theory to understand origin of life, and that is which theory? Oparin's theory, Oparin and Halden's hypothesis of origin of life through chemical evolution. That is through which one? Chemical evolution. Now, what is this chemical evolution hypothesis proposed by a Russian biochemist Oparin and a British Halden? Britain से Halden and Russia से Oparin. Oparin and Halden ने मिलके ये combinedly hypothesis propose किया था, theory propose किया था. They said that Earth with a primitive environment approximately 3 billion years ago. Tentative timing on the earth when life originated. What is that time from today's point of view? How old that event is? 3 billion years approximately. किसी में 2.9 लिखा है, किसी में 3 point something लिखा है. So approximately let's consider 3 billion years ago it happened. So is the earth having the same environment presently what was prevailing 3 billion years ago? Things are different. Or reverse, if you see today, whatever environment is there on the earth, was it same 3 billion years ago? How was it different? 1 or 2 points where it differed. Can you point out how it would have been different 3 billion years ago from today's earth? Technology is a far away matter. I am talking about environment of the Pollution also is a secondary issue. It was much polluted than today's world. There were a lot of volcanic activities going on, and when volcanoes go na, a lot of smoke and gases keep coming out over there. I'm giving hints. There was no life 3 billion years ago. First is the temperature. So today's earth, what is the average temperature you have studied in environment? 15 degrees Celsius or something is an average temperature of the earth. You remember that? Was it the same temperature? Extremely high temperature. Why was there a high temperature? Earth was a fiery ball, mass of gases. It was gradually cooling down. So first liquid form and later solidification and making the earth crust. So it was on that track of being cooled down. After being detached from the sun as one of the planet, it was that fiery ball which was cooling down. Still it hadn't cooled down. So earth was sort of a boiling condition on the earth. So temperature was extremely high. Temperature was extremely high. At least the one in which at least water can get evaporated easily. Fine. So it was like core part was very hot and periphery is cooling down. Cooling down periphery से ही होता है ना. So cooling down from periphery. So atmosphere में cooling down होना start हो गया था. और earth की surface कैसी रहती थी? Hot. So even if water is condensed and coming down as the rainfall, still it will be evaporated immediately and go back to what? Atmosphere. So वो cycle of rain वो भी चल रहा था. Heavy rain. Then what else could have been there? Lot of rain. So lot of course, but a lot of lightning would have been there. Can you imagine a lot of lightning activity? Lot of volcanic eruptions. And one more thing, lot of UV rays. Why would there be a lot of UV rays? Ozone wouldn't have been built up at that time because there was no free oxygen. So conditions were aerobic or anaerobic? Anaerobic. Mind you, oxygen was not available as a free O2 in that environment until it reached to the point when Earth started having a lot of photosynthesis. When Earth got occupied by which organisms? Plants. They started carrying out what? Photosynthesis. That started releasing in lot of amount. Which material? O2. And that O2 particularly accumulated in particular stratosphere or something, and it started making what? Ozone layer. And that started preventing the UV rays penetration and reaching up to Earth. So you can imagine that a lot of UV rays are reaching over there, okay, on the Earth. Now, something is special in these conditions. If you look at today, the temperature is not as high it was there. Then today, rainfall is there, but not as heavy as it was there in that time. Lightnings, again, level has been reduced tremendously. Volcanic eruptions, occasionally they are going on, but not the rate at which they used to happen over there. Today, UV rays, again, ozone is protecting us against UV rays, very minor penetration as compared to that world. And today the world is which one? Aerobic world. That world was which one? These are the features of which life or which, not life, which earth? Primitive earth. The one on which life must have originated. Last point to add into this in this one, everywhere there was inorganic matter. Everywhere there was which matter? Inorganic, such as ammonia gas, such as CO2, such as H2, such as vapor in form of H2O, methane. Everywhere this kind of matter was available in atmosphere. And heavy metals must have made the earth crust. So gases in atmosphere and earth crust getting builded up over there. These are the special features of which earth. In this primitive environment, from inorganic matter. Now, inorganic matter is non-living, by the way. Huh? There is no life in inorganic matter. Inorganic matter doesn't have any life. जहां पे life है वहां पे कौन सी matter compulsion है? Organic matter. Our cell is built by what? Water, minerals plus what? Proteins, carbohydrates, lipids, and nucleic acid. 4 major organic compounds over there. So this means that there is no life without which matter? Organic matter. It's not that the living forms do not have inorganic thing. They do require inorganic, but what is must for making the life? Organic matter. So you can imagine that inorganic matter, which is nothing but the non-living stuff on the earth, in these conditions, ammonia, then H2 gas, then vapor, ammonia, methane, H2 gas, water vapor, ammonia, all this inorganic stuff started reacting with you came from home, you were attending Zoom meet. Okay, fine. So inorganic matter like this methane and H2 gas and water vapor and ammonia, etc. They started reacting in atmosphere. These conditions promote reactions. इसमें energy के sources है. कौन से sources है? High temperature. Then lightning. Lightning can help in providing energy to react. These compounds can react over there. Can you give me one example where lightning is helpful in reactions in atmosphere? Already you have learned. Nitrogen fixation by lightning. You remember that atmospheric nitrogen can react and oxides of nitrogen can be prepared over there. So that is a possibility. Then UV rays. Can you give me one example where UV rays are involved in reactions? Photochemical reactions you must have heard about, smog formation and all that stuff, where light and UV rays and all these sources of energy contribute in reactions between the stuff in the atmosphere. So you can imagine atmosphere full of these materials. Lots of energy sources like temperature and lightning and UV rays. And the volcanic eruptions are adding a lot of H2S and other materials, H2, etc., methane, etc., into the atmosphere. And the conditions are which one? Where there is no pure oxygen available. Where there is no pure oxygen, there is no oxidation. When there is no oxidation, there is no breakup. When there is no breakup, only what is possible? Anabolism. And what is not possible? Catabolism. Anabolism is promoted, catabolism is inhibited. That kind of environment. In that, what must have started happening? Formation of which compounds? These organic compounds. Example, can you quote examples? Sugars, nitrogen bases, fatty acids, amino acids. These are the basic monomeric forms of organic compound. We know that certain inorganic stuff can come together. It can make organic material. CO2 है, NH3 है, ये सब मिलके क्या बना सकते हैं? Amino acid बन सकता है, possible है. So these kind of amino acids and sugars and nitrogen bases and fatty acids, kind of which stuff? Organic monomers. They must have been synthesized on the earth. Earth पे lot of water puddles and pools and ocean, lot of water started accumulating on the earth. In this water, atmospheric contents through the reactions, they get come down to the water. In water, they get dissolved. There they are turning out to be which materials? Then these monomers can polymerize if they get energy. When they polymerize, what they form? Example, amino acids may make what? Proteins. Sugars may make what? Polysaccharides. Nitrogen bases and sugars, etc., can turn out to be which one? Nucleotides and nucleic acids. And even next is fatty acids may have prepared what? Lipids. You see, the stuff that can give rise to life is now getting ready in the on the earth in the water. A cell is made up of these things: proteins and polysaccharides and lipids and nucleic acids. So that came into existence. Then it was a chance event. Then these things are available and they come together and make a combination that can work. Like, for example, from the sidelines of this study, as I teach biology. One teacher is teaching physics, another teacher is teaching chemistry, another one is for maths. So we four have not studied together. We four are not from the same place altogether. We were working in our own way in different locations. But somehow we four can come together and make a combination for teaching the science, all subjects together. You understand? So different materials must have been prepared in the water, but it was a event wherein important materials which can come together and make a life, they got together. And that combination, such combinations are known as what? Let's call them as the aggregations of organic plus which matter? Inorganic matter. Obviously, these reactions were going on in water. So in water, obviously, water will be the major component of life. Any cell, how much water is there minimum? 70% plus. Because life originated in what? Water. So it had to be the main component of life. But along with water, water was not pure water. It had dissolved inorganic stuff. And the colloidal stuff such as colloid, you understand, na? In water but not dissolved. Such as which one? So these things were together and maybe these things got aggregated. And somehow lipid has a tendency to make the outer layer. So that outer layer made up of lipid almost looks as if that's a first or primitive most form of cell or something before cell. Cell से पहले जो एक लेवल था, उसके बाद straight away क्या appear हुआ? Cell. Because when we use the word cell, it's a very sophisticated arrangement over there. Like there is a membrane, there are organelles, work distribution is there on this organ in these organelles, there is a nucleus. So thoda wo over organized hai compared to this random aggregations. So these random aggregations are known as which one? Now it is not compulsory that every such aggregation which we identify as what? Protobiont. उसको कुछ लोग प्री सेल भी कहते हैं, प्री सेल. So it is not necessary that each one of them would have started living as a started or may have continued as a living matter. But which one would have continued as a living matter? Those organizations or those aggregations in which along with this compound, specifically what was present? So all those protobionts in which DNA was a constituent, they started developing DNA based genetic system. They turned out to be which ones? Real pre-cells. These were only aggregations, but those aggregations which had a DNA in them, they started behaving as a cell, जैसे ability to replicate itself. Now if you put an aggregation of protein, polysaccharide and lipid, it won't replicate itself. But if you put a protein, polysaccharide, lipid and along with that what? Nucleic acid, it can make a copy of its own. There this capacity of replication, which we call it as what? Reproduction. A bacterial cell divides into two. That sort of capacity came in only those aggregations which were having what in them? DNA as a genetic material. And from that, first cells must have come into what? Existence. Look at this journey. You think this journey would be within a year or two? For this journey also, how much time must have been taken up? Millions of years. Over the millions of years, these sort of accidents and chance events may have led to this scenario. Now, what must be the condition of this first cell. Number one, very primitive organization. Minimum thing, a boundary in the form of a lipid layer, which today regarding the capacity to respire, they must be of which category, aerobic or anaerobic? Why anaerobic? At that time, origin of life 3 billion years ago, when first life is coming in picture, there is nothing like plant and animal. So that first life is prokaryotic life. And that was which one? Anaerobic, because there was no oxygen available at that time. So it must have respired, it must have released energy from organic stuff. In which manner? Anaerobic. So what sort of respiration must have prevailed in the first living forms? Initial most? Anaerobic respiration. Acha, nutritionally they were heterotrophic. What is heterotrophic? Not capable of synthesizing food on their own. That is called as which one? Heterotrophic. Now, one of the way of turning autotrophic is utilizing light energy. For that, what is required? Chloroplast, without which you can't carry out photosynthesis. You can't utilize light energy. So the first cells did not have organelles at all. Organelles came gradually. So maybe chloroplast may have come, but later on, not earliest position. So without chloroplast, how they would have turned to autotrophic? No, that was not possible. So they would be which one? Heterotrophic. They would be which one? Heterotrophic. So first forms of life must be anaerobic and heterotrophic. Now an MCQ can come over here if I give you 4 options. The first cells on the earth were aerobic heterotrophic, aerobic autotrophic, anaerobic heterotrophic, anaerobic autotrophic. Which one you will go with? C, that is anaerobic and so remember this combi. So how they must be obtaining energy? So like this is the cell and around that others organic compounds are still being prepared in this manner. So they will be capturing these materials as if amoeba is capturing the things around it. Heterotrophic form, amoeba. Similar manner, these cells were capturing the organic matter from the surrounding. That's how they were which forms of life. But a stage must have come when there may be this processes may be getting reduced. So you don't get as a first initial cells, you don't get much of organic matter around you now being prepared on its own by these things. ये conditions थोड़े change होने लगे होंगे. So input of this organic matter occurring in this manner must have been reduced. So they thought, they can't think, but what must have developed in them? Mechanism by which they can start synthesizing organic compounds within the cell. Using which form of energy? Chemical reactions. They would oxidize something in which energy will be released, and that energy they will capture in what? That energy they will capture in which activity? Synthesis of their own, which is called as which form of life? Can you name 1 or 2 chemoautotrophs? It's a phototroph, autotroph. Nitrobacter, Nitrosomonas, you remember? Nitrococcus. Nitrogen cycle. They are converting the ammonia into nitrite and nitrate. That is called oxidation. While they carry out oxidation, energy is released or obtained, absorbed. In oxidation, energy is absorbed or it is released? Released. Oxidation always releases what? Energy. Reduction always absorbs energy. So it must have been which phenomenon? Oxidation, by which they release what? Energy. And the same energy they capture in which activity? Synthesis of glucose. Plants synthesize glucose, they synthesize glucose. Plants do it by using which energy? Light energy. So they are photoautotrophs. They do it by obtaining which energy? Oxidation energy, energy from chemical reaction. So they call it as which one? Chemo. They must have been originated. Later on, what must have gone on? Evolution of which forms? Photoautotrophs. We know that blue-green algae, the prokaryotes are also photoautotrophs. So it's not necessary that chloroplast must have come first. What must have come first? Chlorophyll. Pigment आ गया होगा ना? Prokaryotes में pigment is present without organelle. So what must have come first? Chlorophyll material to help in which activity? Photosynthesis. So साइड बाय साइड, एक साइड पे हेटेरोट्रॉप्स डेवलप हुए, एक साइड पे कौन से डेवलप हुए? कीमोट्रॉप्स, और एक साइड पे क्या डेवलप हुए? आप प्रोकैरियोट्स में ये तीनों वैरायटी को ऑब्जर्व कर सकते हो, हाँ या ना? ब्लू ग्रीन algae are which one? And purple sulfurous bacteria and green sulfurous bacteria are also which one? Then आप बैक्टीरिया में कीमोटोट्रॉप्स को भी ऑब्जर्व कर सकते हो, कौन से फॉर्म्स? नाइट्रोसोमोनास, नाइट्रोकोकस, नाइट्रोबैक्टर एटसेट्रा. और आप इसी ग्रुप में हेटेरोट्रॉप्स को भी ऑब्जर्व कर सकते हो, जैसे सुडोमोनास एंड अदर्स, बैसिलस bacteria which are decomposers over there. So all the three forms of prokaryotes must have been originated, and later on what must have evolved? Evolution of which forms? And that's how the life must have continued over there. This is Oparin and Harden's hypothesis of origin of life. Here the focus is primarily on which aspect? How non-living matter reacted in which environment? Primitive environment of the earth, and developed what? First life on the earth. Is it true or false? That we can conclude with the help of one experiment, which will be our next topic, Urey and Miller's experiment. Before I go for it, 5 minutes given if you wish to copy anything over here. Oparin and Harden's hypothesis. What Oparin and Harden explain? In one line, if we have to say, what we can say? In a primitive environment of the earth, from non-living inorganic matter, from inanimate matter, animate matter, animate means in this case living matter, originated, living forms originated. That is what that theory, Oparin and Harden hypothesis, suggests. In which environment? Primitive environment of the earth. What happened? From non-living matter, what originated? First living forms, living matter. From non-living matter, what originated? In which conditions? Primitive conditions means special features, anaerobic or reducing environment. Reducing means the one in which there can be no oxidation. Oxidation के लिए क्या चाहिए? Free oxygen. So that was the condition which was sort of anaerobic. Hence it was which environment? Reducing environment. Okay, another important one, high temperature. And lightning, yes or no? And UV rays. These were the prime features of that primitive environment. What Urey and Miller did is they created primitive conditions of the earth in a laboratory, which is called simulation. Simulation का meaning पता है आपको? Simulate करना, stimulate नहीं, simulate. For example, if a pilot is supposed to learn the, how to fly the aeroplane, so they are not straight away taken to the aeroplane. सिमुलेटर में ले जाते हैं. सिमुलेटर is an artificial setup which is equivalent to what? Actual plane. It's not a real plane. That is called as what? Simulator. Gives you the feeling of being in a actual plane. So similarly, they simulated. Simulated means what? Created a similar environment in the laboratory which was equivalent to which environment? And they converted the non-living matter, inorganic matter, into which matter? Living, the organic matter. So if you prove that in a primitive conditions, even today, if you create, you can convert the inorganic matter to, that means Oparin and Halden's hypothesis is correct. So this experiment was supporting proof for whose hypothesis? Oparin and Halden's. Let's see the experimental setup. A container which was glass container. It's called reaction chamber. This was identified as which one? Reaction chamber. In a laboratory, they made a glass reaction chamber. Reaction chamber made up of glass. On one side, it was connected to the condenser. Condenser ka meaning kya hota hai? The one which can cool down the vapor and convert it into what? Liquid. That's condenser. At other end, it was connected through the pipe, glass pipe, to another container in which water was constantly boiling. Water was constantly boiling over here. Through the heating, water was converted into vapor. The entire setup was airtight setup. Airtight means no leakage from inside to outside, outside inside. Nothing can go in, nothing can come. Airtight container and this whole setup. And in that, what was created was a vacuum. Vacuum was created in the same. Vacuum create करने से क्या होगा? The atmospheric air would not be a part of inner environment. You agree or not? If I have an airtight setup and then I suck out all the air, that means what is created in this one? Vacuum is created over here. And once I create a vacuum, no air. No air means no oxygen. Today's air carries how much oxygen? 20%. If I let that air go inside, will it be the anaerobic reducing environment? No, it will be aerobic and oxidizing environment. Why we don't prefer oxidizing environment? Oxidation doesn't promote synthesis, it promotes what? Breakdown. We do not want breakdown, we want synthesis. So we need to create which environment? So was reducing environment created in this setup? Yes or no? Then lightning. There were electrodes placed over here. Electrodes were placed. The wires were extended inside this. And through these electrodes, electric sparks were generated in this one. You know what strength? 60,000 volts. How much? Now 60,000 volts current. That is equivalent to what? Lightning. Almost equivalent to what? Lightning. Lightning का energy level यही होता है. So that is a simulation for which aspect? वो भी कर दिया उन्होंने. How did they created this thing? In a reaction chamber, what they inserted? Electrodes. That were, electric sparks were generated with what strength? Equivalent to lightning. Then water constantly being boiled over here, passing the vapor. At the same time, electric sparks in this reaction chamber, in which what was there? Methane, then ammonia, then water vapor, and then H2. 2:1:2 in this proportion. Mixture of 3. ये तो बाद में आएगा. H2O तो कैसे आएगा? Vapor. How will this H2O vapor will come? Another small container with boiling water, its vapor would come into this one reaction chamber. But mainly which 3 gases were taken? Methane, ammonia, and hydrogen gas. In which proportion? 2:1:2. Now this would be another feature that will be matching with the primitive environment. Primitive environment, atmosphere full of what? Gases, particularly inorganic stuff, such as which one? Inorganic materials, such as which one? Ammonia, mainly H2 gas, etc. So inorganic matter also was brought in the picture. You have inorganic matter. You have electric sparks equivalent to what? Lightning. You have an airtight container with vacuum condition initially to start with. That means kind of environment was reducing environment. And boiling water and sparks would generate high temperature equivalent to how much? How much? 800 degrees Celsius. Can you imagine how much temperature? 800 degrees Celsius. Three things are in the favor of sleep actually. The timings and winter condition, boring subject, evolution, and third is teacher, extremely boring. So that can induce sleep in any person. So no one's fault. Huh? In case if you were, otherwise it's okay, fine, nothing wrong. You think others who are nodding their head, they are also active actually. They are just doing this. चलने दो चलता है. जिसकी ओर देखता हूँ वो ऐसा ऐसा करता है थोड़ी थोड़ी देर. So I understand. I was not born as a teacher. I was also a student once upon a time. So I was at the other end. So I understand. It happens. Coming back to our experiment, all conditions simulating the primitive environment, such as anaerobic reducing condition, high temperature, lightning equivalent, sparks with the equivalency of lightning, and inorganic matter. This was let go for almost 16 days. Need to confirm 16 days is the, I think, time, 16 or 18 days. Either of that must be the one. This kept happening for almost 18 days. Let's say 18 days. One side will keep boiling the water. Water will be converted to vapor. Vapor will reach into the reaction chamber where already which gases were filled in? Methane, ammonia, and hydrogen gas. So with that, it will get mixed up high temperature, and from that mixture of gases, what will be passing at regular interval? Electric sparks with such a high intensity, 60,000 volts. And after 18 days, let's say 18 days, this reaction chamber full of those gases and mixture, its gases were allowed to cool down using what? Condenser. So you can open the valve and the things will pass in the condenser. Condenser will condense it, will convert it into what? Liquid. So it will convert it into which material? Liquid. When this liquid, it was analyzed, mainly it was analyzed by chromatography technique. So when it was analyzed, it showed the presence of amino acids in it. Can you imagine in a primitive environment of the earth from these compounds, what was created? Amino acids were created. So if it happens today, it is possible it must have happened when it was a really such environment. We just created it in a simulation. We just created it in a lab and we got these results. See, if it was available actually on the earth in that period, there is a scope of this event to happen. And that is what we are proving by this experiment. This is a possibility. No one actually knows it's such an old event. So we can just make hypothesis. But which hypothesis is closest to the origin of life's actual origin of life's explanation? I think Oparin and Haldane. It didn't end over here. What was done was, some scientists, instead of using, let's say, electric sparks over here, they used what? UV radiations. Instead of electric sparks, they started using what? UV radiation. So instead of amino acid, they started getting some other compounds. So not only amino acids, later on the fats were prepared, fatty acids, then nitrogen bases were created. I think nitrogen bases were prepared when UV rays were utilized. Then some scientists could prepare, using the same setup, they could prepare uh, pigments, and virtually everything that is available as organic matter in living world was prepared in these experiments. All types of amino acids, nitrogen bases, fatty acids, and other compounds were prepared in this kind of set. What they needed to do is, someone used, instead of electric sparks, used what? UV radiation. Then some scientists altered this combination. They started taking other, just say HCN, you understand? Cyanide. So they started using such compounds. So they started preparing the nitrogen bases over there, and different inorganic stuff in different proportion. 1 2 की जगह पे कोई और combi amount का. So different compounds in different combinations and in exposure to different energy sources like UV and electric sparks and other things. They started providing different such materials, which is a proof that if all these materials are prepared today also in a primitive environment of the earth, so in actual primitive environment of the earth, these things must have happened. That's all about it. Have a look. If any doubt is there, you ask. हाँ बोलिए. Sickle cell anemia is okay. Did not I explain that at that time only? No. Okay.